back, my friends, to the Fair Weatherman, as we dive into the dungeons of HeroQuest, a place like none other. As a bonus, I wanted to show you all another real helpful tip for younger players learning how to play the game. I found these really cool acrylic cutouts on Etsy that you can place in the room before you place the objects that are going in the room. And this will help younger players understand where they can move on the board. I think what's most confusing is when you place a table in the room and not knowing where you can travel around that table. So by getting one of these cutouts, you'll be able to really place that table in there and let that player know you can't move through that table. As you can see, it works for really anything that you put on there in any format. And I also think it really makes the board look really clean. I'll be sure to add the link so you can pick them up. They also sell some really cool trap tokens. So instead of Zargon just pointing to a square on the board, you can place a trap tile down, and then as that hero goes to disarm that trap, they can step on it and attempt to disarm it. You can find the acrylic tiles, the trap tokens, custom dice, and tin boxes from Jeremiah on Victory Designs on Etsy. He also has potion tokens and a lot more stuff for HeroQuest. These are some custom dice that I got. I like having them black so I can tell when Zargon is rolling. And then I also got a custom tin that everything can be thrown into at the end of the day. They look really cool up against the white dice that the core box comes with. I find if you get a business card holder like this, will help keep everything organized for your heroes. Especially playing with little kids, having all these cards out is just a lot to keep up with. You got treasure cards over here. You got alchemy cards. And it's easiest if you just take all those cards. And now by having them in a business card holder, it's easy for your heroes to flip through what they have and also clear up all the space on the board so nothing gets lost. Sometimes my kids will wonder what happened to a certain spell, and we'll find it on the floor an hour later, not realizing it had gotten knocked off the table. And so now it's just much easier to access everything you need right in front of you, and then still be able to change your character sheet as you play. Another way to really keep your game board organized is by buying these hard plastic stands. And what I do with these stands is anywhere where there is a block square tile or a falling block trap, I'll stand them up on the board, and that way it's easier than one of those on the game board. I find that those small tokens really blend in, and when you have a whole board set up, they easily get knocked around, and it's more visual to have them on a little stand like that. Whenever my heroes are fighting a really big bad in the quest that has a lot of hit points, we use an 8-sided die to mark that. So if this mummy, say, had 5 hit points, it's easier to turn this die around than it is to keep stacking up endless amounts of skull tokens. The last thing I want to show y'all is super helpful. Whenever we're fighting a bunch of bad guys on the board with multiple hit points and defense dice and attack dice, it's really hard to kind of keep up with it. So what I did is I went to Amazon and found a pocket compendium for our HeroQuest bestiary. What's really neat about this is I can hand it to anyone on the board and they can really flip through and find any bad guy that you might encounter. It does help for them to flip through and find whatever they need. I've also included some homebrew giant rats and giant toads that we use in our system. I added the Chaos Warrior. We put back in the Famir. I have it alphabetical so my kids can find the monsters easiest. And what's really neat is it can make a really cool gift after your heroes complete the core 14 quest in the original box. And what I did is I added a little script from Mentor just to congratulate them as they finish the core box and continue on, where they're going to need this book to take down all these future monsters. The book holds 52 cards so that you can add in any homebrew characters that you have, kind of like my Witch Vulture here that we made. But if you wanted to, you probably could fit in some of the animal allies and mercenary cards that also came with the box sets. I just chose to keep it more of a monster compendium instead. Those are all the tips I have for y'all today. I hope these videos help any young players or amateur players who are getting into the hobby be successful and have a lot of fun in the dungeons. Please remember to subscribe if you like what you see, and remember, your very survival depends on your ability to work together, for no true hero stands alone. Come, let the quest begin.